We all love a legendary comeback, and Degree Original Cool Rush is back and better than ever. Cool Rush isn't just a scent, it's a movement, a fan favorite that delivers bold, fresh vibes and all-day sweat protection. Whether you have a man that spends hours in the gym, heads into the office early, or is just trying to stay fresh on a long day, Cool Rush has their back. Head to your local Walmart or Target and grab Degree Cool Rush, the fan favorite scent from the world's #1 antiperspirant brand.
A provider in here in London named Ceridian, and I started my payroll career working on airline payrolls for Italy and France, to be precise. Following that gig, I remained within the company and moved into global implementation. And after that, I've had a career in it spanning 20 years in different industries, always heading up operations for either European or international payrolls until Payroll Minds, where I'm at the moment. Payroll Minds is quite young consultancies based in the Netherlands, Amsterdam to be precise. And what Payroll Minds does is allocate lead consultants or consultants, project managers to various companies who are in need of support. Right now, I'm running a full global transformation for a pharmaceutical company. And I've been there for just short of a year. And we are completing the transformation from not only from a payroll, but also from an organization standpoint, as well as introducing new technologies. So that's where I'm at.
Wow, amazing. What about you, Keith?
Yeah. Firstly, Brian and Walt, thank you for inviting Carmen and I onto the podcast. It's been great listening to you guys the past few weeks. My payroll origin story, similar to a lot of global payroll professionals, it wasn't the chosen path. I fell into it. My background is in financial accounting, and we had a no-show one day when our payroll person, I stepped in to do a bit of cover, and
Wow.
I enjoyed the complexities and challenge that came with payroll. And since then, my experience after 18 plus years extended into large complex payroll transformations in multi-jurisdictions, EMEA, LATM, and APAC. And I enjoy all the complexities that come with payroll transformations. Similar to Carmen, I work with a number of clients, putting together a strategy of their payroll transformation, planning for the next 3 to 5 years, where I see more change in the space than there has been in the previous 20 years.
Now, you both mentioned payroll transformation, and honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around what that really is. Can you guys help us understand what is payroll transformation?
I can start with that, if that's okay, Keith.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, Carmen, please do.
What is payroll transformation? Oh, we could stay here all day and keep talking about it. In simple words, is the process of reimagining and reengineering an organization payroll's operation on a global scale. It involves streamlining and standardizing of all payroll processes, harmonizing of policies, enhancement or simplification of enhancement of compliance, integrations of systems and technologies, and implementation of efficient and improved payroll practices across multiple countries and regions. This is in a nutshell.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't actually include payroll processing. If I understand it right.
Payroll processing is the product of your transformation. Normally when you enter a company in need of transformation, they're already running payrolls, right? But how are they running payrolls? Question mark. So one of the common practice is to always go through an RFP and select a global payroll provider, maybe 2 or 3, depending on how big is the company, right? And then you have to start from your road. Where do you want to be as a company in the next 5 years? Where is that technology at the moment, right? And so once you align that, Then you start with harmonizing policies, cleaning up all of your compensation wage types, looking at your integration. Do you have any interfaces at the moment? If not, let's build one, but let's build a sustainable and easy to manage implementation. Let's change the internal practices, right? Let's look at roles and responsibilities, segregations of duties, simplification of policies, and so on. And the result of all that, it's payroll. It's a brand new payroll that will require, it will have less human dependencies. It will transform the role of existing employees from an administration role to a controller of an interface and troubleshooting errors between systems, whilst giving you more time to focus on compliance, gross to net, taxations, and so on. So payroll is the product, the final product of your transformation. Yes.
A new payroll process, basically.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. Keith, you anything to add to that?
That was
That's
quite
hard to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, look, I agree, Carmen. It's the fundamental changes to the people, processes, and tools of the organization. And Carmen covered it quite well.
For me, it's an amazing thing to really understand because are you folks familiar with Anita Latink?
We are indeed. Yes, we have spoken to Anita in the past. Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Oh, gosh, we could talk all the time. And in her book, she calls it out really well how folks that are trying to do the transformation don't have the time to think about what it should be. They're doing a day-to-day job. And it's hard to separate themselves and just concentrate on the strategy of a transformation. And when you're
absolutely.
in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to have a situation where you have somebody doing a payroll project transformation and attempting to do business as usual, as in payroll processing, something will fall over. It's essential you have the resources in order to ensure you hit the project timelines.
Exactly. And there's really, we had a guest named Sylvia Corhonen on that really introduced us to this concept of payroll transformation. And we were still amazed how the UK and countries other than the US are progressively thinking about payroll and looking at payroll to that point where we can barely staff a department in the US, let alone have the bandwidth to have folks just thinking about the strategy of it. And do you find yourselves with companies that are small that also use your services, or is it only big certain size and then you can, do you have small clients?
Well, we do have clients, Brian. I think, yes, of course, the larger the company is, the more complex the transformation will be. By virtue of the fact that you need to change many different countries and processes and so on. But in terms of strategy, size will not matter. It's where do you want to be?
Right.
How do you want your operations to be looking like? Where would you like to have cost savings, or where would you like to?
Hello, I'm Ruth Thomas, host of Comp and Coffee, where we break down what's next in the world of compensation management. From pay transparency to performance alignment, we explore how businesses are rethinking compensation to drive impact, equity, and growth. So if you're shaping the future of pay at your organization, grab a cup and tune in. Listen on the Work Defined Podcast Network.
Invest money normally is technologies, right?
Yes.
So in my experience, of course, it's easy to do it on a smaller scale, but I think strategy, when we are talking roadmap, it is just as important.
Wow. Okay. I like it. Love it. So now, what are some of the things you need for success in your transformations? There's got to be certain challenges, and that's the next question, Sue. So you can put it in one if you like. What do you need for success, and what are some of the challenges that you folks face?
Okay. Some of the necessary things required to make transformation a success would be clear objectives. So what we were saying at the beginning, right? We need to have a strategy, and we need to have a clear vision And as a company, we need to have clear common objectives. And objectives could be things like things we see in company could be cost reduction, automation, or simplification, because businesses have been operating in silo and build very complex departments or operations within the business, right? So this could be a clear and a fair objective. But also what you will need is a strong leadership that will champion the transformation through effective communication. I cannot stress enough. Often this part is always overlooked, right? There is a minor communication done at the beginning, maybe a second email sent there, but often it's what's needed the most because stakeholders' engagement is paramount for this entire process. You will also, as a part of the clear objective, you could have just thinking in integrations and harmonization, really depending where your company is at. Maybe is a company that has some very simple processes, but everything is manual. So their focus will be on systems integrations. So it really varies company to company, but one thing that will be common that for all companies and is key and vital to the transformation is a strategy on change management. Unfortunately, this is often overlooked. There is some change management done by informing different departments or stakeholders on the impact of the transformation. And the impact can be quite huge, right?
Yeah.
Often you will find resistance, right? And change management, a strategy around change management on how to update those stakeholders, how to make sure they are on board with the same vision. It will be key to the success of your project because you can find yourself in a situation by that one department is really not okay with what you're trying to achieve and the repercussion that will have on compensation, on HR, on global mobility, and that can happen, right? Because I often describe payroll as a pie of slices made of HR and other parties, HRIS, and then you have comp, you have benefits, you have global mobility, you have finance. And when you do transformation, no matter how big or small that is, it will impact all of these departments. So having them on board from the very beginning is going to be key.
I love it. The payroll pie. I love it.
If I could elaborate that more, especially when you're going to countries like Europe, often you are faced not only with processes internal to the company, but you're also faced with processes put on top from work councils, country bargaining agreements, and very specific local legislation related to the sector that you're working in. So untie that. It's a mission itself. Therefore, having all of the stakeholders engaged in having those difficult sometimes conversations is definitely key.
Wow.
I can continue unless you don't have any questions.
Keith, anything to add? You picked a tough act to follow here, Keith.
Yeah, I certainly did, Brian. Yeah, just to rehash there, one Carmen's comments. For me, clear defined roles and responsibilities, a clear understanding of the project management methodology, whether it be agile or waterfall, and very, very clear communication with all the stakeholders. But one thing that I keep on referring to when I'm doing a transformation is the global payroll strategy and the 3 pillars: resources, technology, and expertise. And that is key to a global payroll transformation time and time again.
Resources, technology,
and expertise.
I love it. Okay. All right.
So, I know that Carmen touched on some of the challenges in there. Could you tell us some of the more common ones that you face? That's outside of the communication, outside of those things?
Yes. So when you do global transformations, it's in the word global, it starts with compliance.
Yes.
many different local regulation, reporting, the payments requirements, data privacy rules, in the integrations of either a single or dual platform, sometimes three, are going to be faced with challenges of singular practice in each of those countries, right? When you go global, another challenge that you can find is the ability of standardizing internal wage types and comp policies across the globe, right? Because of differences within the countries, but often this is the most required a piece of transformation that companies require, right? If we are going to employ technology, how do we standardize our wage type to the max globally to ensure that our technology is not that complex and so costly to maintain in each of those countries? So these are some of the challenges. I could go on and say language and cultural differences.
Yeah.
These are also challenges. Often you find yourself transforming a country where you do not have the language knowledge or understand their culture. That also could be a challenge in some countries specifically.
Wow.
Another common challenge that people will end up with is the approach to the global governance on a regional level. So the way you manage, let's say, a company that is now being transformed and as a single provider in each of the countries, it's going to be completely different from a global governance that uses senior management dashboard and utilizes data to give you tendencies, right, within the regions, and therefore driving business forward. So that could be a change. If you're not used to that, that could be a challenge. I'm thinking of data protection rules in each of the countries. You're going to have a global contract, but guess what? Your data protection lawyers, although you have one single MSA and maybe a very nice global SOW, your data protection will need to make sure that, we remain compliance in each of those countries. So it's not as simple, as easy as it looks. And often you have data protection lawyer will need to add additional SOWs to each of the countries or regions that you go in. And lastly, once again, I think I've touched on this before. It's the resistance around the new process, the new rules, the new technologies.
Yep.
Introducing Meta Ray-Ban Display, the world's most advanced AI glasses. With a full color display built into the lens of the glasses, it's there when you need it and gone when you don't. Send and receive messages, translate or caption live conversations, collaborate with Meta AI, and more. Be one of the first to try Meta Ray-Ban Display. Visit meta.com/Meta Ray-Ban Display to book a demo and find your pair.
Which can seem often not appropriate for that one particular country. So I think thinking global and having a global roadmap that is being overly communicated and discussed, it's key to avoid the resistance challenge.
Thank you for that.
Yes. Like I identify with a lot of the different challenges that you said that they experience in global payroll, because some of those things like communication, getting the resistance back from certain stakeholders or managers are some of the similar things that we face in the US as well when we're trying to implement or transform the payroll on our side as well. Yeah, it definitely resonated with me. Keith, do you have anything to add?
Yeah. From my side, one item that jumps out for me at different phases of the transformation is choosing the right payroll service provider. There are other alternatives. There are technology solutions such as Payslip or Payzar. You don't have to make an immediate change or payroll vendor because it's an expensive capital cost for an organization. So if we think outside the box, which we do for our clients, we look for different various solutions and put it to the client that this actual solution would work best. Other challenges include cross-border payments, depending on the local nuances, requirements. And then for me again as well, I think it's going to be a hot topic over going forward is cybersecurity.
Yep.
There has been data breaches with vendors of late at the past 12, 24 months. I think it's a particular focus in that area too.
Yeah,
Great point.
Agreed. With the change that everyone's mentioning, it, like always, like change naturally meets with resistance, and it's just kind of getting through that. I've been telling my team recently, it's just gentle pressure, relentlessly applied. That we and pressure meaning communication. We constantly have to, hey, this is what it is. Hey, this friendly reminders in a regular form, and I'm gearing them up to say, okay, as it comes, armed with the job aids and the response. Hey, this is what you got to do. Remember this that we shared in the training, and keep pointing them back to the learning opportunities and the learning resources that we have for them. And it's going to be a while, right? It's going to be a while. We have to beat that drum for a while because I kept hearing communication from Carmen, and it's so important and that's one of the keys to success is just keeping it front of mind for folks so that when that because we're actually going through payroll transformation as well. And it's keeping it front of mind of folks, keeping it front of mind. Oh, that's right. This is what's going to happen. Level setting those expectations on what's coming. And folks, you're right. You don't realize the ripple effects and how far out it spreads. And this is really everyone. We're doing something that literally everyone in the organization is going to be impacted by. Some good, some uncomfortable till it's better. Thank you for sharing all those things. We can connect with those things. And with this stuff, how do you guys find the talent? How do you get the people on the bus, the right people on the bus with you, right? For this transformational journeys?
To drive a payroll transformation requires a niche skill set. And for me, having the right attitude and experience is key. You will come across multiple challenges, multiple complexities. And within our team here in Payroll Minds, when you hire one of us, you hire all of us. So
love it.
We're quite grateful and that not all of our team have all the answers, but we do support each other. In terms of the skills that we look for someone that understands the back end of systems, whether it be HCM or payroll, understands the complexities of global payroll, which is quite different and distinct from US payroll, I must add. And the growing area as well is understanding the complexities that come with EOR, employment records, cross the country, transactional payments too. But someone that wants to continuously invest in their learning and education, for it to be more change, I keep on touching on, we need to keep on upskilling, learning new skill sets to remain ahead of the game.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Carmen, anything to add about finding the right people for this process?
I think hiring experienced professionals, of course, it's important. Hiring a contractor who's run global implementation, it's equally important. But probably what I would add to that is internal training to ensure that the people that are currently working within the company are ready and prepared to take on any project for that matter, and have the right mindset. I think Keith mentioned that briefly, but for me, mindset, it's crucial because often you find, I have found people in my career that didn't have that global exposure, but they were just amazing. They just didn't know, and they never had the opportunity to work on a global implementation project. But the key was the mindset, having faith and trusting the process, even though they were unable to see it at the very beginning. So that put them from the following position to the leading position for future countries. So yes, it's a bit of both, and definitely this mindset.
Yes.
It's also equally important as well for us to identify the soft skills and hard skills of our wider team, and for us as employers to invest in them, invest in their education. If there's a particular soft skill or that they want to improve in, or a particular course, whether a project management course or a database analysis skill, we invest in, we back our team. They are the CEOs of their own career.
Wow.
Yes.
I love that.
I like that. So
It's
anything to
great.
add, Brian?
I love what you've shared with us today. I'm learning. I'm dreaming of payroll transformation in my mind. And I'm listening to Carmen wonder, wow, man, I would love to go overseas and help global payroll transformation and be on a team and stuff like that. And it's true, right? Because it's something I haven't experienced with payroll, and I connect, like we talk about all the time. You got to have the right attitude.
Yeah.
And our payroll pillars, talent is the first one, and that's what we say is hire for attitude. You can teach a skill set. Of course, you want a savvy person, or you want to measure for that ability, but you really want the good attitude, because this is not for the faint of heart. Payroll is tough work, and I don't know, Ian Giles challenged us. He's talk more about how hard this is. This is not easy stuff, and it's true. This is very difficult work, and it takes time, and we're just getting to the table. Companies are just realizing, oh my gosh, how big payroll has an impact on our overall well-being. So now we have a seat at the table, and they're bringing us into that vision and a conversation of the whole entire company's path, and we're able to plan from there. The hiring piece of it was important. There's so many things that, Carmen, I love that you said, and I'm going to re-listen and just learn from that more.
What happens when employees behave badly? Boy, we could do an entire TV show, maybe a Netflix special on that. Well, Ryan and I sat down and recorded episodes for FAMA, and we asked practitioners, give us your most outrageous story. The sales leader that brings cocaine to work, whatever. Just bring us the outrageous, and it is funny. So if you need a laugh, which we all do from time to time, search for Workplace Misconduct wherever you get your podcast, and you'll find it. And trust me, you will laugh and cry, but you'll definitely laugh. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's it. Thank you so much for the time. Walt, anything else? What about you?
No, there was so much information they dropped.
Yeah,
so
it's a lot to
nuggets.
unpack.
There's so many nuggets that you dropped, and I think this is education that you, like, in word form, that you just gave everyone in the payroll community and the global payroll community. And Keith, I know that's a part of what you do. I know that's part of what you do as well, Carmen, as a consultant. Keith, I know I see I saw your questionnaire that you were a mentor for GPA. So I understand that you have that teacher in you to lift other people up and educate them. So on that note, what advice would both of you give to global payroll pros?
Yeah, I'll kick off. For me, and this is a lesson for myself, stay informed of future trends. It's changing all the time. At the start of this podcast, I touched on the change, to be more change in the next 3 to 5 years than the previous 20 plus years, I believe.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so keep on learning new skill sets. I think cybersecurity is going to be a big part of global payroll. Really do. I have a colleague here in Dublin, O'Brien. He's an expert in that space, and I'm continuously learning from him. It's going to be a really hot area.
In the cybersecurity space?
Yeah, cybersecurity. It's really,
We'd love to talk to him if he's interested.
Yes, he will be. I'll absolutely make that connection for you, Brian.
That would be awesome. Yeah, because we feel the same way. We were just saying in one of the recent episodes that we see a payroll job evolving into some like payroll cybersecurity expert for your company, taking on that role.
I was actually at a conference recently for Global Payroll, and there was probably 80 plus people there. And the question was asked by the presenter, how many people have a cybersecurity policy in place, or what's their business contingency plan? I think 3 people brought their hand. 3 people.
Wow.
No.
Yeah, so
That's scary.
It is scary. Yeah,
That's scary.
it is indeed.
And we have a very diligent VP of IT. So we're definitely have somebody that's actively looking out for these things. One of the things that we just reported on is, as HR and our worlds and our companies continue to fold in technology, cybersecurity threats are exponentially skyrocketing on the amount of, they just anticipate so much more attacks. So
there was
we're at the front.
Right now, it's like a $3 trillion industry, and then by 2025, they said that cyber crime is going to be at 10 trillion. So you're talking about a 350% increase in cyber crime.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary. This is happening weekly at this point, where we're seeing folks are getting attacked. Payroll folks, we just did a story about folks on your side of the world getting attacked. It's real. It's very real. One of the things that Carmen, I did want to touch back on, she talked about talent and pushing folks to learn. And sometimes I thought about myself, because I scare people sometimes on my team, because I'm like, go and learn and move and fly. And like, they think I'm trying to push them out of the company. And I'm like, no, dare to dream, right? Dare to dream and think about more. Think about where you can take this. Like, you can learn so much more. You can go on and be managers. All the folks that I've ever had on a payroll team, I'm like, look, do you want to grow? Your job should be to take my job. And I train them to that. So I love that education piece that you mentioned, Carmen. I'm very in line with that as well.
And Carmen, what advice would you give to payroll professionals?
Specific to payroll transformation, I would say, if you are embarking on your first project, please do not give up quickly, because you will find many roadblocks, but I can guarantee you it will be worthwhile. And definitely never accept any company's advice of keeping things as they are, because they have always been that way. Never accept that, because the minute you do it, you start transforming.
That's right.
Wow.
Love that.
Absolutely.
Love that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Do either of you have anything for us? Any questions? Anything else before we call it a wrap?
No, not from my side. It's been great to speak to you both, Brian and Walter.
Likewise. I learned so much.
Really appreciate the interest in this space. So keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. We'd love. Do you folks go to Unleash in Paris?
Yes, we do indeed. We attended those. Yeah. If you're attending yourself, we'll need to catch up.
Yes, the goal is to be there for the October of 24 Unleash in Paris. Yes, that is the goal. We'd love to meet up with you guys. That would be great.
Awesome.
Yes, that would be lovely. And thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast.
Anytime.
To you both.
Thank you very much. Carmen, you have an open door policy. You can come and talk to us anytime.
Okay.
Keith, same thing for you.
You too, Keith. I'm just kidding. Yeah, absolutely, Keith. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, folks, so much. Yeah, absolutely. And to all the listeners, we'll see you next week. Look up Keith and Carmen on LinkedIn and follow their careers as well. They're great payroll professionals, and we love talking to them. Thank you all so much. As always, partner, have a good one. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to It's About Payroll. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.